Paul Rossi here with 910 Drones and Sergeant Rick Smith with the Antioch Police Department. Sergeant Smith is going to give us a playback in regards to how UAS were able to assist in a response to a call of shots fired within a neighborhood. So Sergeant Smith, can you go ahead and walk us through this video?
Sure. On this call, we had several residents calling in shots being fired in an open area on a hill behind some residences. They were a little alarmed. They saw a truck go up, but never came down. This tactically is a tactical nightmare for anyone to try to approach. Even in military terms, take the high ground. This being a weapon being involved kind of made it kind of hazardous for us to try to make this approach. This would entail, tactical officers probably with a shield trying to make approach to the subject knowing he's armed. What we used here was a Mavic Enterprise with a speaker attached to the top. In a matter of minutes, as you just saw, we were able to fly to the top of that hill and establish some kind of a dialogue with the subject up there. Yeah, there was a subject up there. He's playing a guitar, drinking a beer, and shooting off a gun. Well, we were able to give him instruction to, number one, acknowledge he sees us, and acknowledge to go, put your guitar away, put your gun away, come down to the bottom of the hill and come meet us so we can talk about this. And he did exactly what we asked him to do. And he's picking up the beer he was drinking and carrying his guitar back to his truck. He goes ahead and puts everything in the rear seat of the truck. He was even nice enough, we later found out, to lay the firearm out on the back seat, clearing the revolver cylinder of all rounds and making the weapon safe. So that was actually an advantage to us, not expecting that to happen, but that's what he did. Some things to think tactically about this is trying to assault him would have been a very difficult thing, as we mentioned before. But we gave him clear and concise direction about what to do. Luckily for us, he was very much involved and very agreeable. It also allowed us to determine what kind of demeanor this subject had. His calm demeanor, not being aggressive or arguing with us about what he should do, let us know that we're dealing with someone that was cooperative versus someone that was not cooperative and possibly hostile to us. So we gave him directions to come on down the hill, in which he followed. You're going to watch him drive down to the hill to us. And if you notice the turf in the area, that's the graded fire break. For those of us in California, trying to drive through that stuff without a full drive is not the funnest thing to do. It's nothing but loose traction. So even uphill. A lot of our patrol vehicles aren't designed to do this. So that would have made it more hazardous for my officers. And you can see here, that steep approach where he had every bit of advantage over us making the approach up. So he comes down the bottom of the hill, and while here, we're able to keep eyes on what he's doing and have video record, number one. Number two, if he tries to go and do anything else, maybe stop, jump out of the vehicle to assault us, we were able to make aware of that. The officers are actually behind cover and wait for him to come down. Once they come down, they do approach him, and you're going to watch now, order him out of the vehicle, take him into custody without issue. In this case, not custody, but detain him after searching him. Again, he was unarmed physically, but did have a weapon in the car. He had his hands out. We don't see it now, but he was given direction. His hands were out. He was completely cooperative. Search was done. He's placed onto the curb, and a search of the vehicle is conducted. We locate the firearm. The end result was he advised us, and it's kind of funny, that his wife does not like his singing. So he found a place where he can go play his guitar, sing as loud as he wants. Had a bad day, felt he could drink a beer. At the same time, thought since he was out in a field area, growing up in a country setting of his own, he could actually shoot his firearm without problems. He was enlightened with the citation he received for discharging the firearm in city limits. That was the extent of it. He was released with that ticket and sent on his way. The biggest thing here is training this. How are you going to approach this if you've never done this before? This is another scenario to think out of the box to train with and revert to train. How are you going to order this man around? Know your equipment. Use that speaker if it's available, which is a huge asset and tool. Yes, we didn't get any verbal response back, but we can ask for physical response. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. And the end result was everybody went home safe. Nobody was injured. Nobody was hurt. and it resolved peacefully.
Hey, thank you very much, Sergeant Smith, for sharing that with us. It's great, as you mentioned, the responding officers were able to get the tactical upper hand, even though they were on the lower side of that hill. They were able to open up that communication. And if anything had happened where this individual tried to maybe drive in the opposite direction or escape, you would have had eyes on to maintain a further connection during that call. So thank you for sharing that information with us, Sergeant Smith.
Well,